Welcome to the Chapter 10 review on graphing. Let's begin. Use a word from the box to complete each sentence. You can take a survey to collect, Luca. Data is correct. And a blank uses pictures to show data in a graph. Elizabeth. That's correct. Use the tally chart to complete the picture graph. Draw a smiley face for each bird. So we have a tally chart that has birds counted at the park. We have the children's names, Reggie, Kate, Ted, and Mandy, and then tally marks to show how many birds they counted at the park. Then next to it, we have a blank picture graph. We look at our key. Our key tells us to use one smiley face for each bird. So let's look at Reggie. How many tally marks for Reggie? Erica? So we're going to draw how many smiley faces? 4. For Kate, how many tally marks do we have there? Arash?
5.
Right, so how many smiley faces will we draw?
5.
Right. And for Ted, how many marks do we have? Megan?
2.
Good. How many pictures will we draw?
2.
Good. And for Mandy, how many marks do we have, Isabella?
4.
4 marks. How many faces?
4.
4 as well. Notice about the tally chart and the picture graph, they have the same titles, so we know exactly what we're looking at. Bless you. Notice that the children's names are in the same order as well. Just makes it easier to transfer the information from one to the other. Which child counted the most birds? Samantha. Kate. Okay, we see she has the most smiley faces here in the picture graph. We see that she has the highest number of tally marks in the tally chart. How many fewer birds did Ted count than Reggie counted? So I gave you a tip when we began working on picture graphs, and I said that it's a good idea to just write the digit next to each line to tell how many symbols were in each line. So for Reggie, we have 4. For Kate, we have 5. Ted has 2, and Mandy has 4. Now we're comparing Ted and Reggie. How many more means subtract? So Ted has 2, Reggie has 4. 4 minus 2 equals how many fewer birds? Maya? 2 fewer birds. Good. Another way we can compare using a picture graph is we can look at Ted and Reggie, draw a line from where Ted's symbols end to where Reggie's symbols end, and see that Reggie has 2 more than Ted. That's another way to look at the information. How many birds did the 4 children count? So now that I have my numbers written here, what do I need to do with all of those numbers? Tim?
You have to count them all up together.
Okay, so I can either, 2 things I can do. I can count all the smiley faces in my picture graph, right? Or I can take all 4 of these numbers and do what with them, Megan? Add them together. I'm going to get the same answer either way, right? So what is that answer? Tim? 15 is correct. Okay, 15, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then if we add these together, 2 plus 4 is 6, and 4 plus 5 is 9, and 9 plus 6 equals 15. Use the tally chart. How many children chose apple muffins? So we have a tally chart that lists the favorite muffins. 3 kinds of muffins listed, banana, blueberry, and apple. And tally marks to show how many children chose each. How many children chose apple muffins? Chris?
8.
8 is correct. So we have 5 tally marks grouped together plus 3 more is 8. Use the bar graph. How many more yellow toy cars than green toy cars were sold? Okay, so we have a bar graph here, toy cars sold. We have the colors listed and the number of toy cars. We're comparing yellow and green, so these two right here. So 2 things that we can do here. One thing is we can look at where the green bar ends. We see that the yellow is more. We can drag a line down here and count how many more lines that the yellow bar extends. Or we can see how many the yellow has and how many the green has and subtract. Either way, you will get the answer of Luke. 3 is correct. Okay, so if you look here, green and yellow, this is where they're the same, but yellow has 1, 2, 3 more. Yellow has 4 cars, green has 1 car, and 4 minus 3 equals 1. Use the picture graph. How many stickers do Megan and Lynn have? So Megan and Lynn together. Matthew? 6 is correct. So you can either count up the total. We're looking at Megan and Lynn. 2 for Megan, 3, 4, 5, 6 for Lynn. Or you can do 2 plus 4 equals 6. Use the picture graph. How many fewer books did Joy read than Tony? How many fewer books did Joy read than Tony? So how many fewer and how many more? They sound like opposites. It just depends on the way that the question has the children in order. So it's how many fewer. Joy has less than Tony. But how many less does she have? So we're comparing Joy here, Tony here. Jasleen? 3 less. Okay, we can do the same thing. Draw a line connecting Joy and Tony. 1, 2, 3 more for Tony. Or Tony has 4, Joy has 1, and 4 minus 3 equals 1. Use the tally chart. How many children chose truck? So we're looking at favorite toys. 3 choices here of toys. How many chose truck? Chris?
12.
Okay, we have 2 groups of 5, 5, 10. 2 more is 12. Use the bar graph. How many more mums than roses are in the baskets? We have basket flowers, 4 different types of flowers along the bottom here, and your scale that goes up to 6 that tells the number of flowers. How many more mums than roses? We're looking at mum and rose. Joanna?
2.
2 is correct. So again, same way to do this. Rose has less, so we're going to draw a line from rose to mum. That's a very crooked line. And we're going to see that mum extends 1, 2 past rose. Or you can also say that mum is at 5, rose is at 3. 5 minus 3 equals 2. The data for grape juice is not shown in the picture graph. If 13 children voted in all, how many pictures should there be for grape juice? Important to note that each cup stands for 1 child. We have apple, berry, and orange juice listed. We need to list grape juice. The piece of information we have is that 13 children voted in all. So how do we solve this one, Elizabeth?
The answer is 4, and I counted apple, berry, orange all together.
Mm-hmm.
I realized that was I, and then I did not just 4 equal 2.
Okay, so apple we have 4, berry we have 2, orange we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What you basically can do is continue drawing cups until you get to 13 from 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cups. I'm sorry, 13, 4 children choose grape. And you know, because like Elizabeth said, apple, berry and orange. And orange juice have 9 votes. So grape has 4 votes to equal 13. In a survey for favorite vegetables, 3 children chose squash, 4 children chose beans, 6 children chose corn, and 5 children chose carrots. Write labels and draw bars to complete the graph. So actually the labels are done for you, number of children and vegetable. We need to name the categories here, and Luca asked if it has to be in the same order that it's given in the problem. It does not have to be, but it makes the most sense for you, and it probably will keep you very well organized if you follow the order. So we have squash on line 1, beans on line 2, corn on line 3, and carrots on line 4. Now we just have to go back and look at the numbers. So for squash, it was 3. So I'm going to draw a bar that extends to 3. Now some of you may have just shaded in the boxes. That's fine for this one. And we know that 4 chose beans. I hope yours is neater than mine. 6 chose corn. And for carrots, we have 5 chose carrots. So your completed bar graph should look like this. And then write a sentence to describe the data in the graph. So any sentence that tells about the graph, for example, corn is the most favorite vegetable, is a true sentence about this graph. That is what I mean when I say describe the graph, okay? Squash was the least favorite vegetable, is another sentence that describes the graph. You could say, let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 18 children voted in this survey. You could say the number of children who like corn and carrots is greater than the number of children that like squash and beans. I'm going to pause here and take the rest of your answers. That'll do it for chapter 10. Now